Hi, Mr. Loader here. Just wanted to talk to you about the learning for English on Tuesday, the 12th of November. Our WALT is to recognise and use expanded noun phrases. Now, I just wanted to make you aware of this website. It's BBC Bite Size and it's got a great video about expanded noun phrases on there. We did look at it in school before, but I thought you might want to just revisit it. So let's discuss the WALT. Now, why do we use expanded noun phrases? Now, the reason why we use expanded noun phrases is because they add more information to nouns, basically. So they give more description, so people have a better understanding of maybe what something looks like. So what do expanded noun phrases need to include? Now, there's a bit of a clue in the actual name, isn't there? So they do include nouns, but expanded noun phrase will often include adjectives. They're given more information about that noun. So this is what a noun phrase is. It's a group of words which describes a person, an animal, a place, or an object, which is the noun. It is joined by a verb, a doing word. So here's our example, the whale is swimming. So this is just a simple noun phrase. So there you can see in red is our noun and our verb is in blue. So I'm going to show you some noun phrases, and then I would like you to see if you can find the noun and the verb in each of those phrases. Okay, so we've got the snail is sliding, the volcano is erupting, the iceberg is melting. So you need to find the noun, the name of the thing, the person, place, or thing, and the verb, which is the doing word. So our nouns will be in red and our verbs will be in blue. So you might just want to pause it and just have a look at those, and then right, okay, I'll put it onto the next slide and we'll see. Here we go, look, the snail is sliding. It's the snail, which is the noun, name of the creature, and what is it doing? It's sliding, so that is our verb. Sliding is the verb. And then we've got the volcano is erupting. The volcano is the name of the thing, and erupting is the verb, the action. And then finally, we've got the iceberg. Iceberg is the noun, and it's the name of the thing, and then melting is the name of the action. So we've just looked at noun phrases. This is what expanded noun phrases are. So, like it says, it makes the noun phrase more interesting by adding in adjectives or describing words to describe the nouns. So it helps the reader to imagine better what the author is talking about or writing about. So let's expand a noun. Noun phrase. So we had the whale is swimming. Okay, so we need to think about adjectives that we can use to describe this whale. So you might want to pause the video and have a think. So just gives you a chance to do that. So we could use large, couldn't we? Colossal, gigantic. There's some words that we could use for the whale that you might have already come up with. Here we go. Oh, we've got magnificent. The magnificent whale is swimming. I was thinking of the large whale or the gigantic whale. And it says we can add even more adjectives to our expanded noun phrase to make it even more interesting. So maybe we could do the large, magnificent whale is swimming. Okay, if you want to pause the video again and think of some of your own, then that's something you might want to do. Okay, so here we go then. The magnificent giant whale is swimming in the sparkling blue ocean. So they didn't just describe the whale, which was the noun. Here you go, if I circle it. But they also described the ocean. So they were the two nouns. And now they've got two adjectives before the whale, the noun, which are magnificent and gigantic. And they've put a comma just in between the two because they were listing the adjectives. And then also they've used two adjectives before the ocean and put a comma in between, sparkling and blue. Okay, so it says on your whiteboard, choose one noun phrase and expand it. So you might want to go back to those noun phrases that we looked at to begin with. The snail is sliding, the volcano is erupting, the iceberg is melting. And think of two adjectives to describe those nouns. Okay. So I'm thinking like slimy for the snail. Well, what could we have for like volcano? Amazing, impressive, gigantic, iceberg. They can be large, they can be extremely large. So think of a couple of adjectives. Of course, it's freezing and cold, isn't it? So they might give some ideas just to practice using expanded noun phrases. So you might want to pause the video and think of two adjectives for each thing, then to turn them into expanded noun phrases. So I'll give you a chance to do that. Okay, so I've copied some of the text from the story Jim and the Beanstalk. Okay, now your job is to see if you can spot the expanded noun phrases. So I'll read it to you. Jim ran to the castle and knocked on the door. He waited and waited until the door was slowly opened by a very old giant. Ah, said the giant, a boy, a nice juicy boy. 3 fried boys on a slice of toast. That's what I used to enjoy eating in the old days, but I've got no teeth now. Come in, boy. You're quite safe. Okay, so see if you can think of what the expanded noun phrase is in that sentence. Okay, you might want to pause the video and just have a look. Okay, now I'm just going to go back because just to talk through this and explain it. Because it says here a noun phrase is a noun and joined by a verb. So when you do an expanded noun phrase, of course, it still needs to have a noun and a verb in it. So if you just go back to that text. Now, this is great description, isn't it? A nice, juicy boy. But it doesn't have a verb in there. Okay? Whereas 3 fried boys on a slice of toast does have a verb on it. Okay? Verb within it, sorry. So I would say if we're looking for a noun phrase, and that what I've underlined in blue, 3 fried boys on a slice of toast would be a noun phrase. Okay. Now, hopefully you can see at the bottom. Here we've got early one morning, Jim woke up and saw an enormous plant growing outside his window. Okay. Now there's not much text to look at. So you might wish to pause it, see if you can find the expanded noun phrase. Okay, I'm going to underline it in blue. So if you underlined or thought enormous plant growing outside his window, then you'd be correct. Okay, there is that verb in there, isn't there? There's the noun and there is an adjective. It only has to be one adjective. Okay, but you can use two if you want to. So let's see if we can find one in this. Okay. So I'm not going to read the top part. Okay. I'm going to read the bottom part. There is one in the top part. See if you can find it. But I'm just going to read the bottom part to focus. So Jim ran inside and showed the giant gold coin to his mother. At last, you can keep a coin for yourself, she said. Somewhere in the distance, Jim heard the rumble of giant laughter. Okay, so you might want to pause it. Okay, and talk about it. This is where the noun phrase, expanded noun phrase is. Showed the giant gold coin to his mother. Obviously, showed is the verb, and then we've got giant gold, adjective, noun. And then here, we could say this one. Jim heard the rumble of giant laughter. Heard is the verb, and then we've got giant laughter. Okay, and there I did say there was one up at the top. Okay, huge piece of paper wrapped around a giant gold coin. Okay, because there's a verb within it, and then you've got your adjective, verb. Okay, I'll leave this one to you to do yourself. See if you can find one in there. Okay. And this one here as well. So here, look, I'll underline this one. Hopefully you've had a time to think. The giant gave Jim a gold coin. So what I want you to do is, these objects were important to the story. The beanstalk, the coin, Jim himself, the giant's wig, the teeth, and the glasses. I want you to create expanded noun phrases for those things. So maybe before you do, you might want to write down some adjectives to describe each of those things. So for the beanstalk, you might write down enormous, large, gigantic, colossal, green, tall. Okay, for the coin, you might have shiny, gold, sparkling. For Jim, that's a hard one, isn't it? Short, boy. For the teeth, you might have sharp, white. For the wig, you might have ginger and curly. For the glasses, you might have large and round, maybe. They're also made from metal, aren't they? So you might want to. So that might help you come up with your own expanded noun phrases. So this is what the learning is. So the main learning, to write expanded noun phrases for the different objects. These must be put into sentences. So remember your capital letters and your full stops and your finger spaces. For example, a tall green beanstalk grew outside of Jim's window. So we've got adjective, noun, and then there is a verb within that sentence. You could, couldn't you, if you really wanted to improve that sentence and add in another expanded noun phrase, you could have a couple of adjectives to describe the window. Okay? If you wanted it to be a fly-high challenge, you could retell the story from the beginning and include expanded noun phrases within it. Okay? So, for example, a long time ago, there lived a boy called Jim. One morning, Jim woke up, he looked out of his window, and he saw an enormous green beanstalk. There's my first expanded noun phrase. He decided to climb up it. As he was reaching the top, he climbed through some white fluffy clouds. As he got to the top, he then saw a large, what we could use colossal, because I think I might have already used large, colossal stone castle in the distance. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. Okay, and I just put on some more examples here for the main learning on the next slide.